Objection so ordered.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I might consume.
The gentleman from Florida is recognized for as much time as he may consume.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Members, for the past 3 years, the House Committee on Veterans Affairs has uncovered and continues to uncover numerous instances of gross negligence and incompetence by senior VA officials that have led to delays in care, growing patient wait times, and lengthy backlogs of disability claims. Regrettably, some of these instances have resulted in lack of proper care for veterans and for preventable deaths. Despite repeated promises of accountability and change, the committee has received nothing but disturbing silence from the White House and only one excuse from another from the Department of Veterans Affairs. Mr. Speaker, we have all seen the heartbreaking news or spoken personally to family after family that's been coming forward sharing their stories of how VA has failed to fulfill their promise to our veterans. The time is past due for us as a House of Representatives to take action. The troubling stories that have come out of Phoenix, Arizona, where whistleblowers alleged that as many as 40 veterans died while waiting for care, and alleged secret waiting lists are unconscionable if in fact proven true. We would not be doing our sworn duty if we sat idly by and allowed these preventable deaths of those who made sacrifices for this great country to become the status quo at the VA. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, these incidents do not seem to be isolated. They are under the watch of not just one senior VA manager. Similar stories of mismanagement and negligence have arisen in Fort Collins, Colorado, San Antonio, Texas, Augusta, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, Memphis, Tennessee, Columbia, South Carolina, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Chicago, Illinois, with news stories being covered almost every single day. Mr. Speaker, these stories were crystallized for me and other members at a recent hearing that we had on patient wait times on the 9th of April. Mr. Barry Coates, a veteran from Columbia, South Carolina, informed the committee that he waited almost a year to receive a colonoscopy at VA. And when he finally received his appointment, it was revealed that he had stage 4 colon cancer. Mr. Coates testified, and I quote, "The gross negligence and crippling backlog epidemic of the VA healthcare system has not only handed me a death sentence, but ruined my quality of life." Mr. Speaker, the need for accountability to help veterans like Mr. Coates is the reason why H.R. 4031 is so critically important. The VA Management Accountability Act of 2014 would give the Secretary the authority to fire or to demote VA senior executive service or equivalent employees based on performance at any time. The current system is so calcified in bureaucratic red tape that it's easier for someone to get a bonus than it is to be given some type of discipline at the Department of Veterans Affairs. Is this what our citizens want? Is this what our veterans deserve? I don't think so, and neither do the 150 bipartisan co-sponsors of this piece of legislation or the leading VSOs that support it. Now, the actions of these few senior executives do not tarnish the hard work of 300,000 frontline VA employees who come to work every day and, by and large, provide excellent care and services to our veterans. But too many of these employees have, in fact, been continually let down by poor-performing senior executives. It's time to restore their trust and America's trust in the leadership at VA. Look, General Shinseki is a good man. He wants to hold others accountable, but he is being held back by a failed civil service system that makes it nearly impossible to remove SES employees. If this bill becomes law, he and his successors will have no excuse. He will have every tool to hold managers accountable and restore faith in the VA. and I am grateful, truly grateful to the 150 sponsors from both sides of the aisle of this vital piece of legislation. And I also want to thank the following VSOs, Veteran Service Organizations, who have tirelessly advocated on behalf of this bill, including the American Legion, Concerned Veterans for America, IAVA, AMVETS, the Reserve Officers, Vietnam Veterans of America, and the Military Officers Association of America. And finally, I thank Leader Cantor and Speaker Boehner for their help in bringing this bill to the floor. Mr. Speaker, it is time that VA's status quo is upended, which is why I believe this bill, the House's earlier action this year to suspend VA bonuses for 5 years, and my call on President Obama to establish a bipartisan VA Medical Care Access Commission is crucial to getting a resolution to this problem. And I believe the question presented before each member here today is very clear. Do you stand with our veterans, or do you stand with a bureaucratic, entrenched, failing system? I urge all of my colleagues to support H.R. 4031 and maintain our promises to our veterans and their families. Mr. Speaker, I reserve the balance of our time.
The gentleman from Florida reserves. Gentleman from Maine, Rice.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I asked about